As we now see stepping to the podium, the Philadelphia police talking about the shooting at a Ramadan event. Let's listen into it live.
As I begin to start this conversation, I just want to, it's going to sound odd, but I'm going to say to you that we're very, very fortunate today that we did not have more individuals shot and anyone killed. I mean, so I'm extremely proud of the men and women who continue to serve in this department and the actions they took today. I just continue to be so proud of them, as well as those individuals who were in the park who grabbed kids and got them out of harm's way. It was a collective effort today for those who are attending the event, as well as our police officers to be able to minimize the number of incidents that we had. What we do know, and it will change, and it may change significantly, and so we're going to be very broad in our conversation today. But at 2:30 today, there was an after Ramadan celebration here at the park. We had about 1,000 individuals out there, and things were going well. We had a detail assigned to this event, and they were working the outsides. During that time period, they were writing tickets. There was tickets, cars were parking on the gas station behind us, and they were writing tickets. At some point, they hear a large volley of gunfire. They say approximately 30 gunshots. What we do know is there appear to be two factions within the park who are now exchanging gunfire. As the officers start to deploy into the park, they observe 3 males and a female running, and they stop those individuals, and we recover 4 weapons. At that same time, we have one of our officers who was assigned to the area engage a 15-year-old male who has a weapon. She fires, and that male receives a gunshot to his shoulder and his leg. The officer secures that weapon and then transports that child to the hospital. We have another individual who showed up who's 22 years old. He has a gunshot to his stomach, and we believe that may have happened during the gunfire. We also have another juvenile who showed up shortly after, within the last half an hour, at the hospital, who has a gunshot wound to his hands. And so in total, we have 5 individuals under arrest. 4 who were carrying weapons, as well as the individual that our police officer fired and struck, as well as an individual adult. That's the numbers, right? So that's the numbers in total. So that's what we're
again. 5 arrested.
So we have a total of 3 males and a female who were arrested carrying a weapon. And then we have another individual, that's 15-year-old, who was shot by our officer. We covered a weapon in that scenario as well, for a total of 5.
And 2 people shot, including the victims.
3 now. We now have 3 individuals shot, 1 by the police officer, 1 we believe in the exchange of gunfire, was unknown and not determined now, the juvenile who was shot in the hand, but we do know that they were here at this event.
What do you want to say to the folks out here, obviously, who are, as you know, concerned and can't believe this happened at such a spiritual spot and place?
Well, listen, I walked through this event, and we know that the majority, 99% of the individuals at this event are good people who wanted to have a good time. And once again, we have young people engaging in gunfire who just really destroyed the sanctity of what happened. There was a gentleman who I was walking by who said, we have to learn how to love each other, and he was really frustrated. One thing I do know, the mayor was on location, as many of you saw, to come down here not just to support us, but to also support the community. She is actively engaged now in reaching out to our Islamic community to make sure that they have all the supports they have. Immediately after this incident, I contacted her as well, and we were able to bring support services. So we do have support services at our recovery center over here at the Claire Muhammad school, to be able to have trauma services there. But the mayor, clearly is sending her message to the community, how important it is for her to be on location, and she knows that we're here to support them. We would ask, though, at this time, that anyone has any information, that they would call 215-686-TIPS or call our homicide division. We did not have a homicide in this situation, but considering the magnitude of the situation and their capacity to deal with, we have our homicide and our shooting investigation team working collectively on this. We asked them to call 215-686-3334.
2 weeks ago, you had a panel, and you were talking about the study you were finding that young people were often shooting around the time that this happened, and you were really trying to dive into the context that can prevent more things like this happening. Judging from what you've learned from that study now, what would you apply to a situation like
I don't know. In this case, we would apply it to this scenario only because schools closed today.
Right.
And so because of the holiday, And in this situation, until we get the true understanding of what the context of it here, we won't be able to answer that. Clearly, the data shows us the types of incidents that I shared previously was happening after school time. I don't know if this translates into this scenario here, just because of the dynamics and the way it played out today.
And Commissioner, as far as injuries, was there also a child that was hit by a vehicle?
I do apologize. Yeah, so unfortunately, during our large response, at the time when we were responding, there were multiple calls coming over the air. For those of you know, we have our assist officer. I think we went to 3 or 4 assists in this, and we had large portions of the city deployed. Unfortunately, during this incident, one of our patrol wagons struck a young child, and she recovered a fractured leg in that scenario. And clearly, we send our prayers out to her and her family. That is not our intended purpose, and we will make sure we'll be following up with her and her family to let them know that.
And we also heard reports somebody had a heart attack, that maybe that was running during the commotion.
I don't know. I mean, it is one of the most traumatic situations. I was able to take a quick glimpse of the film, and just to see the mass of people running away from the park. Clearly, I'm sure there may have been some kind of underlying medical issues that may have resulted from that, but we have no information at this point that anyone suffered a heart attack that was transported from here by us or rescued to the hospital.
Commissioner, do you have
anything like that?
We have no information on the car involved at this point.
Commissioner, do you have any message for parents if these young people were involved in a shooting, minors? Is there any message to parents looking after kids who are wrapped up in things like
Well,
this?
listen, I've made this message multiple times about parent engagement and their responsibility in all of this. If you're not engaged with your child and trying to figure out what they're doing, where they're hiding the guns in your house, and the activity involved, then you're not doing your duty, right? And so then it may not even a parent. We have to understand that many of our kids are being raised by second generation and grandparents who don't have the capacity oftentimes to do the things that we ask them to do. But we always are going to lean on a true adult to be able to engage these young people. But the stuff we see out here, I mean, the guns that we're recovering, I think we're in a totally different process now. Can't make excuses for all of these kids. Some of them are out here actively engaging in gunfire, actively wanting to be involved in shootings, and want to, and as you see today, do that. And there's no zero tolerance for that, right? And we're not going to make any excuses for that. And we're going to do everything. We now have 4 in custody, and we'll be looking for those others that were involved.
Commissioner, hard to hear back here, but can you just, for clarity's sake, the event, prayer in the park that was going on, that's been described to us, separate from the incidents that happened on the street with the shootings? Or
it's all, I mean, we don't have any disconnection of the two. We have the incident, our shell cases are in the park. So there's not a, the incident was happening as a result of the celebration that was going on. Not that the celebration caused it, individuals coming, it was a public event. Anyone can have access to come into this event. So it was not a ticketed event. And so clearly we had some individual who decided to use this as a way to, I mean, just like anything else we see. When we see individuals who are beefing and going at each other, oftentimes they don't care where they see each other at. And so in this case, clearly they saw something going on in the park. What that was, it caused 2 factions to start to pull out guns and shoot at each other. The investigation, we'll be looking into that.
Commissioner, what thoughts on this 15-year-old coming into eye contact with this Philadelphia police officer, still having the officer have to shoot?
Listen, I mean, I met with the officer. I commended for her actions. We're fortunate today that she was not fired upon, and at the same time fortunate that she did not have to take a juvenile's life. But the bravery that she displayed and the valor that she's displayed by taking, not only engaging the individual, but also recognizing that she had a child in front of her and did her due diligence to put him in their car and transport to the hospital is a testament to the men and women who work for me, and I applaud her efforts and the work that she did.
And to be clear, so the 15-year-old shot after the police officer?
No. We were still investigating all of that. We don't know if that weapon was discharged at this point. I do not want to get into the police shooting part of it. What I can tell you is that my officer did shoot that juvenile 2 times, one in the shoulder and one in the leg. As far as any other information related to that, we will not be providing that at this time.
Is he in stable condition?
Yes, all the people, the individual shot in the stomach, 22-year-olds in stable condition, the 15-year-olds in stable condition.
Commissioner, other partners working with yours? Other partners working with yours right now under the investigation?
We always engage our partners. Commissioner Venor is here. We will always engage our federal partners. ATF was already on the ground with us. FBI, the district attorney's office is here as well. All the partners that we are customarily have seen us actively engage with are on station here to support us in every effort we need.
What about the safety plan?
We have a total of five in custody.
5 in custody.
Yes.
Before you walk away, can you break that down one more time?
We have 3.
5 arrested.
We have 3 males and 1 female who we arrested as they exited the park, pursued them, and recovered a total of 4 weapons from them. We have a fifth individual arrested. That is a 15-year-old juvenile who was shot by police, and we recovered a gun in that scenario. So we have a total of 5 individuals in custody, and we have a total of 5 guns.
15-year-old who was shot by the officer.
That's correct.
Is in stable condition.
That is correct.
Shot in the shoulder.
And the leg.
And the leg.
That is correct.
And there was a gun found on that team.
Now, the gun, yeah, he had the gun. She saw the gun.
Any words about the safety plan?
I think we will move on from that. I mean, at this point, we're going to deal with the situation here, and we'll discuss that at another time. But thank you for the question. I think we have 3 juveniles and maybe 1 adult out of that grouping of 4. 3 juveniles and 1 adult out of the group of 4 that we recovered 4 guns. All right, we're going to end it there. Listen, I appreciate you guys, and we're going to move out. All right?
Thank you.
NBC News, I've got here late. Can you just give me a sort of a thumbnail?
Oh man, I can't do it, baby. I appreciate you. I'll be pulling off this side.
All right. Okay. All right.